What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a wide receiver football IQ quiz to test your knowledge of the position. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a receiver and you guys would like a daily gym and on-field workout schedule that you can do, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate 8-week wide receiver workout plan. It's over 500 plus wide receiver drills, gym exercises with the exact sets and reps. Monday you're doing this, Tuesday you're doing that, for 8 weeks total. So check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you guys on that. If you're interested, again, very first link below. Let's get started with this video. So if this is your first time watching one of our quiz videos, how this video goes is I'm going to show a pre-snap look from a wide receiver in DB rep. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions about the look, how you would run a certain route versus that coverage, and then I'm going to give you guys a chance to pause the video, think about what you would do, and then we break down why it's right or wrong, okay? So first example here is how would you guys run a 5-yard in? A 5-yard in route or a 5-yard under route, essentially where you just go up 5 yards, then break towards the quarterback. How would you guys run a 5-yard in versus this specific type of coverage? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So first things first, anytime that I'm making a plan off the line of scrimmage, I have to be looking at a couple things on this DB. Number one is going to be his leverage, right? Number two is going to be his distance. So how close or how far is he from me? So in this case, he has inside leverage. Inside leverage is where the DB is just lined up a little bit inside shade of us. He's not right in front of me. He's a little bit to the inside, or sometimes a lot to the inside, right? So that means he's inside leverage. Reason why we want to know that is because that tells us what his responsibilities would be. Now, I would be lying to you if I said that, okay, he's inside leverage, that's what he's going to do every single time. There are times where a DB might disguise it. He might show that he's inside leverage, then he might bail into zone coverage. And as a receiver, you have to be very good at reacting on the fly. Sometimes he might be inside shade, then jump to the outside. Got to be able to react. But you still need an initial plan of action. So he's inside shade, that's my plan of action. He's inside shade, and he's maybe about 2 yards away. Okay, great. I got to run a 5-yard in. Kind of a problem because he's sitting right at the break point pretty much. I got to break at 5. He's sitting at about 2 to 3. So what we would want to do here, you would not attack his leverage and then take an outside release and try to stack him, if that's what you guys said. You would not attack his leverage, give him a fake outside, then take the inside release. He's not going to let you do that when he's inside shade. His goal is to prevent the inside route when he's inside shade. That's why we got to know that. So what we would do is we would do a variation of a diamond release. So instead of attacking for maybe 3 steps to the outside, you would attack his outside shoulder and outside hip for 5 yards. The goal is to get him to flip his hips and think that we're running a fade, and then we slip back underneath him. So it's show this full speed. So that's exactly what A.J. Brown does. He puts the brakes on, slips underneath, and he's able to win on the route. Now, again, why does he take the outside release? Why not just force the inside release? Because remember, this DB is not going to let that happen. If this DB is terrible, we could probably take the inside release. Chances are he's in the NFL. He's probably not terrible. And I don't want to get you guys ready for a DB who is bad. I want to get you ready for DBs who have good technique. So he pushes up vertical. He attacks that outside shoulder to maintain spacing on the play. Let's say, for example, the route concept is A.J. Brown has a 5-yard in, and then let's say the slot receiver has a 10-yard in, right? But he gets rerouted way to the inside. That screws up spacing on the play. Spacing matters, and also there are other defenders on the field. In one-on-ones, you might be able to get away with it, but that's one-on-ones. It's not the realest form of football, obviously. So he attacks that outside shoulder. He's got good pad level. He's got good strength. By good pad level, I mean a slight forward lean. He's running with long strides, and he's running hard. Those things make that DB think we're going deep, so he opens up the gate, and then we could slip right underneath him. With spacing on the play, we kept timing with the quarterback because we avoided a ton of hand contact by forcing the inside release, and now we got separation. That is how you run that route. So let's play this thing full speed one more time. Great job by A.J. Brown. If that's what you guys said, attack the outside shoulder for 5, that would be 100% correct. Okay, so now, how would you guys run? Next example is from Brandon Ayuk. How would you guys run a 10 to 12-yard dig route versus this type of coverage? So I'm not going to tell you the type of coverage. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just how would you guys run a 10 to 12-yard dig versus this coverage? So you guys go ahead and pause the video and think about your answers. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So first things first, what do we want to identify off the line of scrimmage as a wide receiver? We want to look for this DB's leverage, right? So his leverage in this case, and again, it's easy to tell based on the DB's stance. If his stance, so like if his feet are like let's say the middle of his feet are even with the wide receiver's front foot, which in this case he has a stance switch, so his left foot is up. But this would be, even if his inside foot was up, this would still be true. If the middle of his stance is even with our left foot, that means that he has outside shade. If the middle of his stance was even with our right foot, in this case it's our back foot, that means that he would have inside shade. So when a wide receiver cuts his split down, that means he's lining up closer to his left tackle if he's on the left side, right tackle if he's on the right side. So when he cuts his split down, usually a smart DB will play outside shade, because what does a DB usually expect when a wide receiver cuts a split down? Outside route. He's trying to use the space that he created by cutting his split down. So we have outside shade press coverage. So we have to run an inside breaking route. So if you guys said you would attack his leverage off the ball, try to get him to move to the outside, then take an inside release and then cut, you would be 100% correct. But there's some technical things that you can try to emphasize on this type of move as well, and that's what we're going to discuss. So let's play at full speed. So he attacks him off the ball, gets him to keep that leverage, and you see he does a great job of getting skinny. This is a problem that a lot of receivers have. They will have this look, right? And they'll just take off and go run. Remember, he's outside shade for a reason. Prevent the outside route, but also he's outside shade because he has help to the inside. No DB will play cover 0, which means essentially there's no safeties over there. It's mono-a-mono man coverage. No safety will play cover 0 outside shade. They will always be inside shade. So if he's outside shade, we know he's got help inside. Linebacker, maybe a nickel, maybe a linebacker's dropping and disguising his coverage. He's got safeties over there. So if we just take off and run, you're running right into where he wants you to go, guys. And that's not a quarterback-friendly route. So we attack his leverage. Now, that's not even enough. You got to attack his leverage, but after you move him off of his platform, because the best way to get a DB to move off his platform is threaten him where he is taught not to let you go. Make him think you're running where he is taught not to let you run. So we attack him outside. We get him to move. Now, this is where receivers go wrong. They move the dude and then they run away from him. Again, exactly where he wants you to go. You have to do something called getting skinny. You got to run hip to hip with him. So you see how he moves him, but you see how he gets into him. He dips that shoulder. His body is going this way. Ayuk is one of the best at this. So he gets his body into him. He's leaning into him. So at the break point, if this DB wanted to get physical and get into us, what could Ayuk do? He could almost push off without getting called for it by leaning into him with his body. Not only will that get him separation, but also that creates a bigger window for the quarterback. You're not just running right into the safety help. Also, you want to get skinny too, fellas, because like, let's say, for example, you had to run an outside breaking route. It would be when you're getting skinny, which AKA means running tight to the DB, that helps you stack him. And when we stack him, when we have outside shade and we have to run like an out route or a corner, it makes it easy to throw a move at the break point. So if that's what you guys said, inside release, that would be correct. Just make sure you're thinking about getting skinny in this case. We always want to get skinny. It makes life a lot easier. We could either lean into him, we could either throw by him, or we could stack. Okay, so now this next example here, this is going to be a little bit different type of a question than what we are used to in these videos, but I'm going to show the clip first, and then I'm going to ask you guys why you think Amari Cooper did this. So he's going to be running a slant route, and he's going to be using like a slide, like hesitation, skip release into a crossover. So let's play this full speed. So he comes off, he slides, gives a move, a little bit slower paced slant, right? Not quite like a fast paced slant or a fast paced in route like we saw with A.J. Brown. So you guys have all seen the release. Why do you guys think, this is the question, why do you guys think he decided to use a slower release? Because again, some of you might be thinking in your offense, whether you're a high school athlete, whether you're a youth athlete, coach, I can't use these types of releases because it takes too long, or my coach gets pissed off because he says that I'm taking too long and my quarterback needs to get the ball out. I know a lot of you think that whenever we talk about these types of releases or you see those types of releases. So why do you think, even at the highest possible level, Amari Cooper used this release? So you guys go ahead and pause the video and think about your answers. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So, reason why you use this, it's a slower developing play. Guys, it's not always every release fits every single play. Sometimes as a wide receiver, you are a later read on the play. Sometimes as a wide receiver, you are maybe the backside read, a second read, or maybe it's an RPO, like a run-pass option for the quarterback. So he's doing a play-action fake, essentially, reading a defender, and you don't want to get to the window too quick. Like, let's say, for example, quarterback is reading this defender right here. Let's say this is like outside. I know it's not the outside linebacker. This looks like defensive end. I think it's TJ Watt. But anyways, let's say he's an outside linebacker, right? Just for the sake of the example. Let's say he's reading him. He is reading to see if he backs up into zone, and then he'll hand the ball off. Or if he crashes down, then we throw the slant right behind him. But the quarterback has has to put the ball in the running back's stomach. He has to ride the fake and then throw. So if my game plan is, okay, I'm just going to go really fast and get to this window, and then we have to kind of settle and wait for a sec. We got to wait for my quarterback. What does this DB got a time to do? Recover and drive on the ball. Right? So we got to time up my releases with the play. Or maybe, for example, you're running a 5-yard in, but the quarterback is looking to the right side of the field first. He's looking at a first read, second read, and then coming back to you third read. So we don't want to get to the third read zone too fast. So that's when you change up tempo. If it's cover 0, guys, remember, no safety, man-to-man, and we got like double slants, not the release to use right here, you guys, because the quarterback is probably getting pressure. And you're the first read, so you got to go. So that's what I would recommend to you guys. If you're younger and you kind of want to use like slower paced releases, make sure you know the right situation.